Hey everyone, it's VM Campos, comic book fan. Another month, another comic haul. So, first one up here is Ghost Tree #1 from IDW. Can you believe it? IDW celebrating 20 years. I gotta learn what it actually stands for. Ideas something. Anyway, this is #1. This is by Kerno, Gain, and Herring. Now, that actually might be Gane, possible Japanese pronunciation. But what this is a story about a boy who grows up, who made a vow to his grandfather to return to the ancestral home in Japan 10 years after he dies. Well, it's been 10 years after the grandfather died. The boy, now a man, returns to Japan, to the rural home where his Oba-san still lives, grandmother, and is rekindling with the past. Very mysterious, very moody. Great art, interesting plot. So, Ghost Tree #1. Next up, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge #1. Okay, variant edition, pretty cool cover here. To the best of my knowledge, this takes place before the very beginning of A New Hope, because Greedo is still alive. And it's just stories on the edge of the galactic rim. Han Solo and Chewbacca are in it, and a whole bunch of new characters, or characters that I'm not familiar with in the Star Wars mythos. There's the Millennium Falcon. And it's interesting, it's cool, good art. Another look at classic Star Wars. Disney is really putting a lot of books out regarding our favorite galaxy far, far away. So this is Galaxy's Edge #1 from Marvel. On a lighter note, on a cuter note, we have The Shape of Elvira #2, one of the variant covers. This one is variant cover #2, or cover B. I forgot to look up the artist's name, but I love this cartoony style. It's just so cute, and it really shows off Elvira as the cartoonish character that she is. She's great. She's been around with her brand of comedy horror for a while, and she's definitely made a deal with the devil because Cassandra Peterson, the actress that plays Elvira, has not aged a day since the 80s. Okay, this tongue-in-cheek story is a mixing of the Elvira mythos with the Shape of Water movie, and she basically has a meeting with like a creature, an aquatic creature, in the hopes of getting a part in a sci-fi horror movie. The internal art is not this cartoony. It's a little bit more realistic. I kind of would have loved that this were the internal art style, but the internal art is still very good. It's vaguely Robert Hack-ish, but perhaps with not as much detail. And it's been enjoyable so far. I wanted to get the photo cover. There's also a bunch of photo covers for this in the companion series, Elvira Mistress of the Dark. I'm getting those, as well as some of the non-photo covers that catch my attention. So here's The Shape of Elvira #2 from Dynamite. Okay, WTF. Jughead the Hunger versus Vampironica. If you are not up to date with this, Archie Comics has been doing a lot of horror comics. It started with Afterlife with Archie. What if there was a zombie invasion in Riverdale? Then they did Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, so a much darker take on Sabrina the Teenage Witch. After that was Jughead the Hunger, which is what if Jughead became a werewolf? Okay, after that, we had Vampironica, what if Veronica was a vampire? And now we've got the culmination of those two, Jughead the Hunger versus Vampironica. Amazing cover art by Dan Panosian. Just wonderful. I love this style. I love the expression on Jughead, Veronica. Very moody. I love this cover. Internal art is by a different team, which is still also very good. Very violent. Okay, it's a spoiler, but early on it happens. Pops gets eaten viciously and graphically by a gang of vampires. And then there's a lot of stuff happening, and how does this universe tie with that universe? Because it is separate universes in the original comic. And there's also a separate universe with Blossom's 666, another one of the Archie horror books. But this month I got Jughead, The Hunger versus Vampironica #1 from Archie Comics. Now you may notice something. I started to notice this after I got all my books and I brought them home. There's like a lot of nostalgia in this comic haul. I just showed you a few books over there of characters that have existed for a while. Here's another one. Rocko's Modern Afterlife, #1 of 4 from Kaboom and Nickelodeon, a subsidiary of Boom Entertainment. This is by Birch, DeMeo, and Segala. Okay, this is basically what if zombies invaded the world of Rocko's Modern Life. Can you see him right there? This is the retailer early preview. What was it called? The pre-order interlocking cover. So issues 1 through 4 will be a big old panorama. So I got to get them all. And it's zombies in the world of Rocko's Modern Life. This is a hilarious book. The art is great. The plot is hilarious. It's updating Rocko for our modern times, so it's even more modern. They have cell phones. Heifer is a streamer, a game streamer. Rocko's into yoga and quinoa. Mr. Bighead can't be ripped apart from his cell phone, and he's railing against millennials. So updating the classic characters from 20 years ago to the modern times, but with zombies. Not violent, not gory, but there's some biting, of course, because that's what zombies do, but in a sort of a funny, cute way. And it's kind of always been interesting how this original cartoon was like so subversive back in the day, and I wonder how it kind of fits in with today's zeitgeist, helicopter parenting and all. Anyway, this book was pretty enjoyable. I've got 2 through 4 in my pull list at my local shop. Rocko's Modern Afterlife, #1 of 4. Continuing the nostalgia train. Okay, Spawn. Spawn from Image Comics. This is number 296. From Image Comics, Todd McFarlane. This is classic 1992 character that's still around, and I remember just the huge buzz when Image Comics debuted and the earthquake that it caused in the comics industry. A creator-owned and focused company, original characters, badass for the 90s. The character's still around. This and Savage Dragon are some of the comics that are still in the triple digits, that have never been rebooted, that have been going on for years, and still with the original creators. Stan Sakai has had a character for 30 years, but his series have started over and over in different publishers. But Spawn is about to reach 300 issues, still at Image Comics. Original creators Todd McFarlane still working on it, not doing as much as the art as usual. And now we've got Francesco Mattina doing some of these amazing covers. This is kind of a cool recap of everything that's happened in Spawn for the first 100 issues or so. And the next issues do that until we get to the big 300 issue. I wonder what they're going to do on the cover. Perhaps an homage to Amazing Spider-Man number 300? Jokes. So here's Spawn number 296 from Image Comics. I saw this on the shelves and I had to get it. This is hilarious. True Believers, Avengers, Rocket Raccoon, #1. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. Now also it says rated T for teen. Okay, where do I begin with this? I have the original. The original was Rocket Raccoon #1, 1985 or something. And this was the original Rocket Raccoon, not the Scotty Young version perhaps that you're most familiar with. This is the Mike Mignola version, the Hellboy version of Rocket Raccoon. So Mignola worked with Rocket Raccoon back in the 80s. Bill Mantlo, Keith Giffen created Rocket Raccoon, and then this story has art by Mike Mignola, Hellboy fame, before Hellboy. And it's just a hilarious, like, this is a furry comic from Marvel Comics. And they have Avengers emblazoned on it. You know, in modern times, Rocket is not in the Avengers, he's in the Guardians of the Galaxy. but they slapped on the Avengers logo up here. They moved the Rocket Raccoon logo down here, and they also cropped the art, because look at the original creator's signatures down here. Mike's name is being cut off, plus the other artist. It's kind of zoomed in. Again, I have the original. This is rated T, so, and $1. So the original was, 65 cents? Now it's $1. And it's rated T for teens, but okay, it's cute old Rocket Raccoon. Well, he's blasting characters in the series. They're all like mechanical, so that's okay, but still, violence. And this is one of 4 in the original run. And this ties into Groot and Rocket trade paperback, collecting the rest of the adventures of Rocket and Groot with a brand new cover with Mike Mignola. So it all comes back full circle. And it's the True Believers line where check things out for $1. So pretty cool. Avengers Rocket Raccoon #1 True Believer Edition. In the same vein, okay, this is fascinating. True Believers Star Wars #107. With the original trade dress, Marvel 25th Anniversary. This is from 1986, I believe. 85, 86. And Star Wars comics went from 1 to 107, starting in 1977 to 1985 or 6. And this was the last issue of the original run. Like, I don't know why I feel like, this is not like Star Wars clothing, and that's not Star Wars clothing, and that barely is. And Chewbacca looks kind of dog-like here. Han looks cool. Leia looks cool. And this guy right here, does not compute. Why is this guy so simple and everyone else is, realistic? And all of the little bird things. Okay, so rated T, #1. Interestingly, at the end of the book, it says, see you next month in issue 108. So there's a special Marvel Legends, Legacy, whatever they're calling it, 108 special issue, 30 years after the original run. And I just noticed, why does R2-D2 have yellow and red and stuff? Anyway, this is classic Star Wars from the 80s, $1 reprints. These True Believer editions are pretty fun. More nostalgia, the Max 100-page edition, whatever this is called officially. So Sam Keith, one of the early Image guys, with his original creator-owned character, the Max, created an amazing surrealistic story back in the 90s that I never understood, that I've got to reread again, the whole run, just to understand it. The art was amazing. The story was really out there. There was an amazing MTV animated cartoon in the 90s of it. And this is 100 pages for only $4.99. This is a great price for a lot of content. It reprints issues 1, 21, and 25, something like that. And I remember reading #1 back in the day, and now reading it again 20 years later, I still have a visceral reaction to it. Beautiful art, weird plot. And then I don't remember reading 21, 22, etc., the other ones in here. And I saw the evolution of the character of Keith's style, but still this hyper caricatured style that I really like. And this is also from IDW, so I don't know when the Max moved over to IDW from Image, but it's publishing this reprint, and really interesting. So the Max 100-page special. And lastly, another big old blast from the past from the comic shop. Johnny, the Homicidal Maniac, #1 from SLG, Slave Labor Graphics. Okay, this is from 1998, and I remember my brother was really into JTHM and also into Marilyn Manson. Coincidence or conspiracy? But this is Jonan Vasquez's original magnum opus, which then led to Invader Zim, still being published in comic format and mourned by a generation that watched the original run of the cartoon. But anyway, it all started here. A very violent, very weird series focused on Johnny C and his insanity, his murder spree. And this is just a really dark comic. It's black and white interiors, just really dark side of humanity with this character, this, goth, emo sort of character. And it's just crazy. What's crazy is that, okay, I thought, well, they're reprinting it again, 20th anniversary. So I picked it up from the shelves. When I took it home and opened it, this is printing number 25, copyright 2009. So I have questions. Is this back stock that they had at the comic shop that they put on the shelf that was printed in 2009? Or is it a recent print that has a, indicia error? And 25 prints? That's like the highest I've ever seen. I've seen like Bone #1 go to like 6th or 7th printing. And I've seen some of the recent Marvel books like Spider-Gwen #1 go to 6th printing. But this is 25th printing. And if it's true that this is from 2009, is it on like 50 prints by now? The cover, if you look really closely, it does look a little reprinted, perhaps. I don't remember how the original quite looked. I know my brother had the original deluxe edition trade paperback that collected everything, the classic Z ? Cover. I really remember that book that my brother had it, and I don't remember seeing the original print, so I don't know if it shows up in the camera, but it kind of feels like a copy of a copy sort of thing. But I thought that was kind of interesting. So this whole haul has just been about a lot of nostalgia books. Go figure. So Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, 2009 printing of the 1998 classic from SLG. So there you go. There's my comic haul for this month. It's all like books based on existing properties, things from the past. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug. And here I have all of these examples of all of these things that have existed previously. Elvira, Star Wars, Archie Comics, Rocko, Johnny, the Mac, Star Wars, Rocket, Spawn. The only thing that I got that was new this month, and I wasn't even planning it or thinking about it, was Ghost Tree #1. Kind of interesting, huh? Well, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, to like, to comment, tell me what you liked about my haul, give me some recommendations. Don't forget to visit patreon.com right over here. You get a lot of free stuff right there. But if you go up to the $1 tier, you get some exclusive things. If you go up to the $2 tier, I will actually mail you a vintage comic from my collection. And if you just like all the content that I create, my magic videos, my comic videos, my snack videos, all the other stuff, my streams, perhaps think about joining the VM Campos crew and pitching in $1. It really helps. If you can't at the moment, no worries. Just like, share, tweet, comment, and enjoy my stuff. This has been VM Campos, and I'll see you in the comic shops.